Ahoy and welcome back once again to the channel. My name's Gary. I like watches. If you're here watching this, you probably like watches too. And as you can see, I've got a fibbity Phoibos to show you in today's video. A little bit of a treat because this is the latest version of the Apollo. This is their latest release, their newest watch. They have gone through this process, or they're going through this process of shrinking down in size some of their more popular watches. And this is the latest watch to have been put under the shrink ray gun. Yeah, and there it is. I've opted to review the beautiful white dial, black bezel with a sort of mint green accents version. I'll get all the plastic off, put some power into the Miyota 9000 series movements, and yeah, resize it. I'll be back in a mo. You don't want to see that bit, it's boring. Right, there we go. I have taken all the plastic off, put some power into the Miyota 9000 series movement, resized it, move the hands out of the way so we can have a proper good look at this new release by Phoibos. First impressions, doesn't feel like a small watch. 39mm according to the listing. I will take some measurements and show you some measurements in a minute. Yeah, doesn't feel like a small watch. The other one, I think it was 42 or 43mm. Must have been huge. I think the original one was made out of titanium. This one is made out of steel. Yeah, it's a good size, a good weight. For me, anyway, I've got a roughly average sized wrist. So this is the sort of Phoibos that I like. 200 meter, sub 40mm, water resistant diver. Yeah, it's what I like, and also it tapers the bracelet. Not a lot, but there is a little bit of taper. Some of their larger, heavier watches have bracelets that just don't taper. I promise it does taper. It doesn't look like it does it? You know what? Let's do the measuring now. I don't want to be speculating all videos. So, wow, the bezel is, yeah, just under 40mm. Thickness 11.5. Oh, I would have thought it was thicker than that. Case length just under 45.5. Yep, 20mm lugs, and the bracelet tapers down to just under 18mm. So yeah, there is a bit of taper on this bracelet. It's quite subtle, isn't it? Yeah, construction throughout looks pretty good. Solid end links, solid links, as you would expect. Milled inner elements to the clasp. Look, on the fly adjustment system. Yeah, very nice. How many positions? 1, 2. Oh, come on. 2, 3. Oh, it's not the smoothest. 4, 5. 5 positions. Let me have another go at that. Yes, it's a bit grindy, isn't it? It works, but it's not the smoothest action. While I'm talking about actions, let's have a little play with the bezel. Yeah, bezel action's not great. It's quite clunky. The clicks are very strong, aren't they? Not particularly sort of crisp and clean sounding or feeling, but the alignment, always good with their watches, isn't it? Ceramic, brushed ceramic bezel insert. Look at that. I really do like the accent colour on this one. It's a sort of mint greeny blue, isn't it? Yeah, very layered and textured, or layered I should say, dial, sandwich dial. Some of the loom sits underneath the main dial look, and some of it sits on top, and then you've got an elevated chapter ring around the outside. I'll show you the loom degrading at the end of the video. I'm all over the place with this one. Lots of sharp, crisp corners, brushing in all sorts of different directions, really interesting crown guards, lots of corners and angles, brushing on the side of the case, top to bottom instead of left to right, you know what I'm saying. Although some of the surfaces appear to be a little bit more reflective than others, I don't think there's any actual polished surfaces. I think it's just all brushed, but the direction of the brushing, I mean, look at that on the side of the case, look. You could be mistaken for thinking they're polished facets, but they're not. So yeah, lots of light play, despite there being no polishing that I can see. Anyway, female end links. I'm not wild about these sort of bulging centre links. They just sort of bulge a bit more than the centre links on the bracelet. H-link bracelet look, which is nice. I like that design. It's just there's some weird light play on that end link. I mean, the end link fit feels good. I just would have liked that to have been a bit flatter to match the rest of the centre links. I'm being a little bit picky perhaps. I really like the shape of the hands and the dial design. It's just, yeah, very unusual, very original. It's what you would expect from Phoebus. Double-ended quick-release spring bars. I just felt those with my fingers just then. 200 meters of water resistance, so screw down crown, screw down case back. Right, while we're waiting for this to warm up, let's weigh it. So set up for my roughly average sized wrist, over 150 grams. I didn't think it was that heavy actually. It is still quite a chunky watch. Yeah, but 150 grams plus for me. Right, and now let's, come on, hurry up. Test the crystal. Here we go. And the crystal is, of course, sapphire crystal. Flat sapphire crystal with internal AR coating. So, yeah, I like flat crystals. Nothing wrong with a flat sapphire crystal. And on my wrist, I've got no complaints. It's just over 150 grams, so I wouldn't want it much heavier. If it was going to be a sort of all-day, everyday watch for me, I wouldn't want it any heavier, but I could wear this all day, every day. Yeah, no issues in terms of balance, so it doesn't feel top heavy. The bracelet construction is solid, so decent weight all the way around your wrist, and of course you've got that on the fly adjustment system in the clasp to help with fit, moment to moment as your wrist swells up or shrinks down, but also it adds extra weight in the clasp, just evening out the weight around your wrist. Yeah, it doesn't sit too high off my wrist. It's nice and bright and colourful. I'm pleased that they're going through this process of shrinking down some of their larger watches. They were going through a phase of just making 43, 44 millimeter divers, which for me, just despite this one being originally titanium, still just too big for me to wear every day. So seeing them downsize their watches to what I consider to be a more average size for an average person, yeah, it's great. And I wonder which one's next. Right, guys, as always, a massive thank you from me to you for tuning in. I do appreciate it as always. And yeah, let me know what you think of the watch and the review. As always, I look forward to reading your comments. Cheers, guys.